You should be barricaded in your house and kept off of the street, or sterilized, lobotomized, left in a car in heat. Cause the things you say and do tell me your brain cells are with you, and that is why I hate you.
I think this podcast software works pretty well given no prior experience, but sometimes it just pisses me off. I don't know why it just refuses to play shit sometimes, and then like, oh, whatever. Why am I talking about this? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. We're in the middle of a school vacation week here.
Yay, spring break.
Because it's Zombie Jesus Day on Sunday. Sunday, right? I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and they got all that other shit in between. Good Friday, fucking messy Thursday. I don't know what they're.
Fridays, I guess.
It's more good because Jesus got sentenced to death, so it's a Good Friday. Apparently, I don't know. I think that's what it is. I don't actually know what it is, but whatever.
I hate bringing up old like Family Guy jokes, but all I can think of is like Jesus gets put on the cross. You see a bunch of people like, can you feel the brand new day? Just like celebrating.
Man, I've seen this comment multiple times, but people talking about like when Jesus comes back and he just sees everybody wearing crosses with him on it.
Well,
wouldn't he be?
My dad, because again, like my parents were really big in the church.
Yeah.
And my dad had this cross medallion, and like growing up, I saw people wearing crosses, people doing terrible shit wearing crosses, stuff like that. And I'm sitting there like, the cross, was that a torture device?
Yeah, it's
other
people
died on the cross.
Yep.
Why are we? And I mean, like, it didn't dawn on me because they were wearing the cross. It was because I saw the cross with Jesus on it on my dad's medallion. Like, it had Jesus on it, and it felt so morbid to me.
It's weird, right?
As a kid,
you think about it,
I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, when you think about it, it's really bizarre.
Yeah, like the people in church love to say like the devil will always like sneak into the church without you knowing and shit like that. I'm like, well, you guys think pentagrams and the upside down cross are evil, but the cross itself is pretty goddamn bad.
Yeah, well, like imagine to be more like it's not really modern, I guess now, but like imagine if he was hung and like people just walked around with a little noose with Jesus hanging on it from their neck.
Hey, some people believe Jesus was black, and if he was in America.
Yeah, if he was in America in the late 19th century, definitely would have been the case.
And what's really funny is that hanging is actually really popular around the world. Like, it's actually probably one of the most popular like ways of execution, possible torture and execution. So you would think that we were one step away, just one butterfly landing on a flower away from the
that
noose being
I just picture people with little nooses around their neck with Jesus hanging from it. It'd be so weird.
That would make for a good Twilight Zone episode.
Oh yeah, that would be a good Twilight. Maybe Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone.
Oh, I think that shit got canceled. Oh yeah, he's still doing it. I thought it got canceled.
Maybe it did. I don't
watch TV. I just know it was a while ago. I heard about it, then I didn't hear shit about it after.
Yeah, they did 2 seasons. I want to say I watched both seasons. They're okay. I mean, Jordan Peele's phenomenal filmmaker, so I guess I expect them to be a little better the episodes than they were, but they weren't bad. They're okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple really good ones. I guess I don't know. I think we nostalgia gets us to think back to the original Twilight Zone and make it better than maybe it actually was. I haven't watched it in a while. I went through.
I think
you never watched it.
I stopped watching Twilight Zone when Forrest Whitaker was the host. That was years ago.
Yeah, the original 50s Twilight Zone, when I worked for Suncoast Video and we were getting ready to shut down, it was this weird like month-long period where they were closing the store, so we were liquidating, so we didn't really have anything to do, and we just I'm lying. We did this when the store was regularly open too. We just would put stuff on the overhead TVs. So we watched like the entire series of Twilight Zone on box set. We watched like every Simpsons that was out at the time. I think they only had like 8 seasons out at the time on DVD, but we watched South Park. It was pretty funny. You walk into a Suncoast Video with your kids and there's like South Park on. We didn't care. But man, yeah, the original Twilight Zone, when I would watch them, I couldn't believe how good they were in hindsight. And then it was on, there's a couple episodes on the other night I was watching, and I was watching them with my daughter. and my wife, and it was an episode where there was a throwback. It was took place in the 50s. Obviously, the show was in the 50s, and the guy went back in time to like the late 1800s.
Yeah.
And they changed it so there was like title cards on the screen and stuff. Like it was like early 20th century film,
Mm-hmm.
where it was all silent. And we were explaining everything to her, and we were saying it's funny because that's supposed to be the past for
them,
the show,
yeah.
but the show's taking place almost 70 years ago or 70 years ago at this point. So the present in the show is way, way in the past for us. So it's really weird for us to see 70 years in the past is supposed to be the present, and then they're looking 50 years before that. And it's crazy because the 50 years before that is actually closer in time to the actual 50s to us now. So it was just a weird, she was like blown away, like, what the hell is going on?
I remember hanging out with my friend, speaking of like time displacement, hanging out with my friend, we were younger, and he was really into Lost in Space.
Okay. Yep.
And my dad was like, hey, it's coming up on sci-fi, on the Sci-Fi Channel, when they spelt it correctly.
Yep.
And or spelled it correctly.
Instead of Siffy.
Yeah.
Siffy.
Siffy.
Why did they do that?
To kind of just be like cool. I guess they had a new CEO. They were going another direction, so they decided to say, well, we're going to show a lot of retarded movies, so let's just make a retarded spelling for it. And yes, I'm not trying to be offensive by saying retarded. It's just yes, I am. I'm being offensive. I don't care.
Well, in the time, they would have said that.
They probably would have at the time. But regardless,
someone's at the front porch doorbell.
Oh, thanks.
Someone's
Alexis,
at my front porch doorbell.
Siri,
It's
or
Google. I hate when people drop off packages and ring my doorbell. It drives me crazy. You don't have to ring the doorbell when you're dropping off a package. All you do is make my dog bark and make me think I have to go answer the door because someone's there, which just makes me even angrier.
They know you have a dog, and they probably rang the doorbell before the dog went bark, bark, bark.
Yeah, but they never ring the doorbell. Every once in a while, somebody decides to ring the doorbell, and it drives me crazy.
Different beliefs. I don't care.
Don't ring my doorbell.
I don't have a doorbell. They just drop a package right at my door, so when I open
You're a lot
it,
smarter.
I can't open it.
Well, the dog's gonna bark in the background, folks. Sorry, I'm gonna keep talking over. It drives me crazy because when I hear the doorbell, I think someone's at the door, and then I'm like, I gotta go answer the door, and somebody's gonna be there, and I'm gonna have to get rid of them somehow. Because there's never anybody at the door. Like when you show up, I know you're coming, and I could. It says, my camera says vehicle in the driveway, and I go, oh, okay, he's here. So I know. Yourself. So if my doorbell rings, it's not somebody I'm expecting most of the time, and it's usually I don't say. I'm trying to think of the past. I think one of my kids, my kids, one of the neighbors' kids was selling Girl Scout cookies once. Every once in a while, you get the Jehovah's Scissors, and I just go, I worship the devil. Blah, 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 blah. And they go away. No,
they only stop if they see the car in my driveway. And
I got to pull in the garage. My
windows are open during the day because that's a house rule that I have to follow. They can see me.
What do you mean?
Well, my wife wants me to open all the windows.
Oh, okay, got it.
Let natural light in, and get disinfect by nature, whatever.
I was like, you don't have an HOA. Who's telling you have to open the windows?
My boss. But they'll see my car and they'll come up to the door, and I guess they try to use their new recruits with me because I recognize usually only one person every time.
Oh, okay. They're bringing somebody along with them.
Yeah, and the last time they did it, I had to run out to my kitchen because my anxiety has been so high recently. I can't do human interaction well. And I kind of ran into the back and was like peeking out. I was like, cat, be quiet. Because my cat's meowing at me to give him a treat.
No one's here.
No, my house is small. They can see me.
See, you got to get a Nest doorbell because they have like the automated responses. You could just go into the app and hit a button and it'll be like, go away. I don't know I don't think they say go away. I've never tried them before. It's got to be more evil. Yeah. And then they'll run, think you're the devil.
Back to Lost in Space really quick. So one thing I didn't know with the original Lost in Space, do you know what time that was supposed to have taken place?
No clue.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember my friend telling me while we were watching it, and I think we remember watching it with my dad, it was the year 2000.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that.
It was year 2000 when my friend and I were watching it, and we're going, wow, they just thought the future was going to be fucking amazing in like 30
I
years.
know. Well, I think anything like pre 2000, like a good 30, 40 years out, that
Yeah,
was like the year 2000 was like,
it was
oh,
just
the year
that.
that's the future. It's the turn of the millennium. It's the future. And then as it's creeped toward the date, we started realizing, oh, things aren't going to change all that much.
The,
It's just,
the only thing that happened is that my beeper turned into a cell phone, and that cell phone is just getting smaller. It even got worse because I think Mega Man did it the best. Every Mega Man took place during the year 20XX. So
oh
you
yeah,
just
that's right.
don't know what the other numbers are.
They should have done like two XXXX.
Oh, that just
XXX.
been weird. Like, just
That made it really
year
nebulous.
redacted. Just left
Or
it.
the 3000. You got to go like way out, like when
Like
the medium's going to be
no
long
chance
dead.
anybody can prove you wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's my daughter actually asked the other day when the Earth was going to end, and I was like, I don't know.
You know what? My
Billions of years
answer.
from now.
I've answered a similar question to my son who doesn't give a shit, and I was just like, hopefully not in your lifetime.
Yeah, that's a
That
good
was my
answer.
answer.
So I decided the other day I need a new style. You should help me with this. I need to fix my style because I used to, when I was like 20, I had great. I wore like khakis and like nice sweaters, and I always tried to look really clean cut and like just well dressed. And then I kind of started wearing jeans at one point. I refused to wear jeans. I wouldn't wear anything but khakis because I was like, okay, they look, khakis make you look like you're together. And then I started wearing jeans, and but then I was cool. I'd wear jeans with like a blazer and a t-shirt, or jeans with like a sweater over a collared shirt, and it was fine. And then eventually I started wearing sweatpants, and I was like, these are more comfortable. I just would like, I'm not going to wear anything but sweatpants. And then I got into hoodies, and now I look like a football coach on the sidelines now.
I
Just
mean, you're the only guy I know that wears a Kangol hat. That's not my dad.
these hats.
So I mean, like, or the cabbie hat. Some like I I tried in high school. It was like, nope.
I
I
like them.
tried a lot of looks in high school.
I've got a lot of these Irish looking caps because I don't have hair, so I got to keep my head covered when I can. And my hair's really long and bad right now, so that's why I'm wearing wearing a hat today. I'm going for a haircut tomorrow, and
You either have no hair or your hair is too long. Which one is it? Stop lying to the audience.
well,
No,
the
I
hair
know.
I do have, the hair I do have is too long.
Oh.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Manscaped. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Well,
because
quick
that
story.
picture
Yeah,
is terrifying.
I'm gonna work out my style. I ordered a blazer, and I ordered some button up. I think here's the style I think I'm gonna
Ordered
go
a
for.
blazer. That's formal wear. That's not just
No,
style.
no, like not a
Unless you
blazer,
live in
sport coat,
LA.
like a sport coat.
Okay,
I used to
fine.
wear. I told you I used to wear a t-shirt with a sport coat over. It
Yeah,
was
but
just
you
a
also
nice
wear a lot of
casual.
khakis. Like, I'm
Well,
sorry, I
those with
was.
a blazer with like a graphic tee and some jeans. That's a good look.
I mean, also you have to dress for your weight. Like, I have a hard time finding clothes because I don't dress for my weight.
Well, no,
I used
that's
to
true,
dress
and
like how I did in the army.
I'm keeping that in mind, and I was thinking maybe button up short sleeve shirts, but I'll leave like the top few buttons unbuttoned so my chest hair sticks out a little bit. Just really lean into this old middle agedness. I told my wife that, and she just looked at me and was like, and I was like, and a shark tooth necklace.
As long as you don't wear a button up like that with like khaki shorts and Crocs.
No, that's bad.
That would
Even I
be
know that's
that's
bad.
when you fully gave up into like the dad dome.
Yeah, even I know that that's bad. I mean, I wouldn't do that. So Manscaped. So this is a little out of order because we aired the episode after I got it first. And then we aired the episode where we talked about it. And I said I was going to get it. So now I've used so I got it. And the picture I sent you was very accurate, dude. I sent Joaquin a text message. I was like, this is my results summary. It was just a picture of somebody lifting some lasagna out of a pan.
Which bothers me because one, I swear by mine. So
Okay, that's cool.
no.
I get it.
So I literally just showered and I. Okay, so this is the first time I ever thought of a man while I was in the shower. Because you came up while I was in the shower because I'm using my Manscaped. I'm like, how the fuck did he? And I'm like shaving myself, calculating how sensitive is his balls?
Well, okay. First off,
so now I get my answer.
I started with just the regular upper area, and it was snagging on everything. It wasn't long. It wasn't even like it was that long. It was just snagging nonstop. Kept snagging, kept pulling. It was driving me nuts. And then trying to get down there, dude, it just kept nicking my sack over and
must
over
have got a
again.
really bad head, like
Maybe
the head, because the heads are interchangeable. Like you can get rid of them.
right. Yeah, I've seen that.
I don't know if you have the same model as I do, because
No,
I
I
have
have the
an
newer
extra
one
one.
because they have the
Okay.
4.0. That's what they had available.
Because I have the 3. I think I have the 3.0.
I think that's what you said. Yeah.
But because if it's snagging at all, then the head is bad, which
It must be.
I would complain, because that's.
Nah, dude, I'm done. I already returned it, and I got a
Okay.
different one. And I forget the brand. It was like a something Manspot. I think that's what it's called. And that one works good. That one, no, not good. Superman does good, brother. I do well. That's from 30 Rock. No, I used that one. It was much better. I didn't have really. I still you got to do it the right way too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. Maybe part of my technique was off in the first.
But
time.
I was just like, because again, I shave my head and my no area, and I shave everything like with the Manscaped, and I wash it and I do the other parts, and I'm just like, maybe I have it just down.
Yeah, you probably just have it down.
I've only nicked myself when I first got it, which
so
obviously happened to you.
Yeah,
but again, I've never shaved that area before.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was like,
and I would have when you sent me that haunted my dreams for a bit.
Dude, I nicked myself.
I knew I would have to wait to get the explanation.
It was at least 5 times I nicked myself.
Oh my god!
It was just bleeding.
Like, I don't blame you for not doing it, for not keeping it, but I am very upset that I swore by it and you tried it and it went wrong.
No, I mean, the more we talk about it, maybe my technique just needed to improve. Because, like I said, the second time I did it with the newer one, it was a lot better.
You also probably more careful.
Yeah, that's true. I was probably more careful. It was going a little slower.
Because I like, it has the light on it, so you can see, like.
Yeah, I liked that. I did like that.
I dip it right in the water to clean it off.
Clean it? Yeah. The new one I got is a little slimmer too, so it's actually a little easier to get around.
Which I know once my Manscaped dies, I might just get a whole different one just to try something new. But right now, I've had it for over a year now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it's almost been 2 years since I had my vasectomy, and
that's when you started using.
That's when I got it.
Okay.
Because they were just like, you need to shave down there. I was like, oh, okay.
I always picture, you always see on TV when somebody's going for surgery, they do it for them. Like they shave for them.
I refuse to trust that ever again after my appendix.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right.
I refuse.
Right. Fair enough.
I know they're not going to shave it for the appendix, but you think they would shave it when they have to stick the adhesive down on that area. They were like, no, look at all those pubes. Blanket it. Just fucking put it all over. You know what? We need more tape. Let's just tape up his entire ball and sack area, just so it's just penis and just a little nub of skin sticks out. Let's just do that.
We can't get it off.
Let's just rip it all off.
But yeah, Manscaped was not up to my satisfaction. But in fairness, may have been my speed and technique was off.
You just shaving it like you shave your head.
I just need to be a little more casual, a little slower, a little more careful. But the new one seems okay. So we'll
using
see
it like a leather strap, like an old school barber.
Oh Jesus Christ!
No.
Just whipped my headphones out.
Oh okay. I thought. Oh, see.
Anyway,
I thought that you dropped your drink.
No, I would have been cursing if I dropped my drink.
Very true.
I want to talk about, we touched on this, I think previously, NHL Pride Night. We touched on it previously when there was a couple players that didn't want to do it. And now I guess the NHL is considering, based on fan response and team response, player response, just completely doing away with Pride Night. And at first I kind of thought to myself, oh, come on, this is bullshit. You get paid a lot of money, just do it. But I started thinking about it, and I was kind of like, why did they do it to begin with? What's really the point? It's a marketing gimmick, right? I mean, the whole point,
exactly why.
It's just for marketing. It's just to say, hey, LGBT LGBTQ plus community, we're a sport that's open to you guys. Come and enjoy our sport. Like, that's literally what it's for. It's a marketing gimmick. It's not for anything else. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, what is Pride Month? Pride Month is a month for the community to celebrate their identity.
Yep.
And enjoy it. So
push back against hate. That's what it's supposed to be.
Right. So if it's okay, so that brings another element into it, to push back against hate. But it's their the NHL is not full of that community. I don't know if there's any openly gay or anything players. So why are you appropriating the month for your marketing anyway?
So it's sort of like, you could say that for Pepsi, McDonald's, and I know it's still like a commodity that's bought. So you still know that there might be people of the LGBTQ plus community that watch the NHL, and so they're trying to do the wink, we have your back.
Sure.
And
which is garbage. I mean, it's garbage.
And any, like, I hate seeing articles that say, it's great to see, because I'm like, no, they're advertising like everything else. It's just advertising.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like I said, that's exactly what it is.
And more people are okay with a welcoming, like, community than they are of a restrictive community. That's why, for instance, furries, that furry community online is so goddamn big, because they just accept everybody, good, bad, or indifferent. Whereas, like, the church is getting smaller and smaller because they are a restrictive by nature culture. And so these companies, be it sports teams, be it, clothing brands, whenever they, like, sport a rainbow and say, like, we're pushing for this, that literally will go only as far as their numbers allow them to.
That's true. I was trying to think of it the other day, but I'm like, okay, so and what do they even do? They go out for their warm-ups wearing rainbow jerseys.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's probably like the most minimalistic shit.
Yeah, it's nothing. But and then at the same time, I was like, well, what if I put on a dashiki and ran outside for Black Pride Month and was like, oh, Black Pride, yeah, right? Like,
I would pay for that, but I'm down. I feel like I would just be paying your funeral costs.
Yeah, but isn't that the same general concept? Like,
it kind of is. I mean,
it's stupid
for me. And I said this to, I was debating with one of my my friends who's in the LGBTQ community. It was kind of funny because we were just kind of joking. And I was like, I've been to the Gay Pride Parade for like 2 years because I was in college and I'm supporting my friends.
Sure.
And there were guys, like, people dressed up as, like, penises and in their underwear, and they're like, but also toting, like, family friendliness. So I just thought it was kind of weird. I didn't have kids or anything like that, so I didn't think on like the dad level, and I just thought on the that's awkward level. But then I was like, my problem that I have, like, I'm all for it, but I don't like the theatricality of it. And I know, like, gay and theatricality you want to put in the same bubble if you want to stereotype. But for me, like, it's like me going to the Million Man March with a bucket of chicken, watermelon, purple drink tank on my back.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you mean.
Like, yeah, Black History. Yeah, like, being fucking ridiculous. Like, that's a minstrel show. Going around talking about gay pride, being dressed up like a penis or something, that's being a minstrel, essentially. You're being cartoonish.
No, I guess you're right. I
want you to be the word pride is like being co-opted by generally anybody who wants to make a mockery of something without knowing that that's what they're doing.
I get what you mean.
I'm not saying it's on purpose, but I'm saying that some people want to go so extreme that it loses its meaning.
No, that makes sense.
I feel a lot of these companies lean very heavily into that, especially with, like, the Gen Z, like, commercials where you get these tone deaf commercials like, stop war, and you get a Kardashian putting a flower in a fucking gun barrel or some stupid shit, then giving a Coke
that Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, giving a Coke to an authoritarian, like, soldier.
That commercial is so bad.
Like, yeah, Coca-Cola made everything about it better.
No, be clear. It was Pepsi. Pepsi fucked
I don't
that
give
shit
a
up.
fuck. It's
I do. I like
It was
Coca-Cola.
drug water. Like we get tone deaf shit like that all the time because
Yeah, it's
people
tone
aren't
deaf.
really. They're going, well, that's what it is. That's why Disney is constantly putting in minorities in their live action films and acting like it's a big fucking deal. And like putting like, and I mean minority as in like gays, straight, racial, whatever it be.
Right. Yep.
They're always constantly doing it, yet they turn the most minuscule character into these old stories gay and then push them in the background. Or
Yeah.
their
And then want to be
big gay
rewarded
moment,
for it.
yeah, their big gay moments having two like off characters kiss, like a gay couple kiss in the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Yep.
We get small shit like that, but it gets celebrated so big so they can just do the bare fucking minimum.
Yeah, that's exactly the bare fucking minimum. And that's kind of how I felt.
Celebrated by the people who make a minstrel show of,
yeah,
the pride of just being an accepted human being, because that's what the pride should be in, not just being a fucking gay human being, black human being, Asian human being. It should be being a human being that's accepted.
Yeah, that's well put.
Into overall society.
Yeah, that it's very well put, and it just brings me back to the more I start thinking about it, I was like, fuck it, just don't do it anymore. Don't do it. If people are gonna make such a big fucking deal out of it, and you're doing the bare minimum anyway, and it's all just a marketing gimmick, it has nothing to do with actually celebrating acceptance. Fuck it, just don't fucking do it. And then I don't think any other sports even have something similar. So it's like,
I think what was it? Football. They do. I know they do the breast cancer.
Do they?
Like pink.
Well, that's different though.
No. I know. I'm trying to think of the other things that they do.
They do that. I mean, they'll do armed forces, which armed forces is different. That's a thank you. Hey, thank you for we're going to recognize
your service.
We're recognizing your service and your sacrifice, and that's a completely different thing, I think, than saying, hey, we accept your community. I think
because I doubt they're saying we accept your cancer community. I know that's not what it is.
They get compared though. Like I've seen comparisons. Well, you do armed forces night, well, that's not the same thing. It's a very different concept.
And unfortunately, being part of the armed forces is quite literally a necessary evil, because you could say, well, I'm against war. Yeah. A lot of people who are actually like in the military aren't really for war.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're for being put in. I don't want to be for being put in war zones.
Fucking blown up or see our friends die. Only the real psychopaths or idiots want that.
Right.
In reality, is like, look, one, life put me in this path to do this thing, but two, when you really see it, like the whole world does not go by the way we do things.
No.
So you need some kind of protection. Yeah,
we're seeing that more and more these days too. It's crazy. But anyway, I went from like, I'll get over yourselves to, you know what, fuck it. Just don't even fucking do it. Who cares? Yeah. You're not doing it for the right reasons. Who cares? Whatever.
Well, the more we put a spotlight on anything, again, being any human difference, is the less time we're going to have it be normalized.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the more you call it out, the less likely it is to be normalized. It just be accepted part of culture if you keep calling out. So I guess it could do harm in that way.
I kind of feel like we should just constantly be calling out bad things like the KKK. Like that is something you just constantly call out. They'll never be normalized that way because most people who are in the KKK don't want to be affiliated openly.
Let's just have fuck the Nazis night.
Yeah, just
do something like that,
shit like that. Let's see how that works.
I don't know. It was
just making jokes of them all night.
It was just interesting because it just was turning around in my head for a couple of days, and I just eventually was just like, "This is just fuck it."
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So we didn't talk about this ahead of time. We got a listener mail. So should we do that early? Should we do that at the end? What do you think?
I feel like maybe we should do listener mail right before we get to the complaining.
That's a good idea. I think we could do it that way.
Like it's a good button.
Yeah, this is right in the middle of our podcast. We're just discussing our production schedule here.
Well, this is how organized.
Good planning.
I actually,
this is good planning.
That's organized. I am not at all.
We have some organization. Hey, this is gonna be like our third or fourth week in a row with an episode. We're improving.
See, now that you said that, we're gonna miss like a whole month now. Thanks.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not gonna do that. anything else you wanted to talk about before we get into our topic or
Yeah,
mail
I
or
blinked
whatever?
and your Kangol hat disappeared. Did I make you feel self-conscious?
No, I start getting hot. It's hot in here. I got all sweaty. And I'm wearing I forgot to mention I got this it's a 2XL hoodie that they sent me by accident from Google.
Okay.
I wanted an XL. I ordered an XL blue, and they sent me a 2XL in gray. And I
Okay.
was happy about the gray because I actually wanted gray, but they didn't have that in my size. And they said 2XL, and it's so big, it makes me feel good. I'm like,
It
this is
feels
so
like you're in
big
your
on me.
boyfriend's shirt.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. I'm like,
ooh.
oh, and I'm like, oh, I'm not a big dude. Look how big this is on me. It's so roomy. Like I'm wearing a parachute, but it's roomy.
Oh, see,
But it
it's
feels
funny.
good. So I'm
I was going.
no, it's just gonna say it feels good, and I think I might try out two big hoodies, zip up hoodies for a while. See if I like that style.
See, I really don't like wearing like clothes that are too big, but
I love it.
I was never like the big person in a relationship because of how short I am. And my wife, who is shorter than me, when she puts on her 2-inch heels, becomes my height and or a little taller. And it bothers me so much when she's wearing like my jacket
Really?
and her heels, and then she wants to hold my hand. Like it makes me feel completely emasculated and
Does it?
almost makes me want to go red pill. See, I
Oh,
segued.
good segue. Except we got to do mail first.
I know. Shit.
All
I
right.
thought about it after I said it, but I was like, I'm too far into the stupid story.
No, that was good. Let's just pretend that we put a pin in that. We'll segue in with our terrible mail.
Once in a while, we receive some mail, and it comes to us in the mail. Sometimes we will read the mail to you. So listen, it's time for the mail.
It's so bad.
Time for the mail.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I was just bored last night, and I was done working. It was like 8:00, and I was like, oh, we have an email we got to read. So I was fucking around with that, and my daughter came in and she was trying to give me advice on how to make it better. And I was like,
Oh,
it's
that's
not going to
adorable.
get better. We were playing around with a little bit and adding stuff. And believe it or not, there are worse versions. So we got an email from Aaron, a listener. I'm going to read this out loud if I can read today. It's about splash pages on websites. He says, splash pages on websites when surfing the net from a desktop or laptop and maybe a tablet are slightly irritating but tolerable. But splash pages on websites when surfing the net on your phone is fucking annoying.
Oh my God, yes.
I get it that these websites need to
Yes.
make money through advertising, but Christ Jesus, when the splash page takes up 90% of the phone screen and the size of the cross to close it is about the width of 2 ridges of a fingerprint, it does not make me want to revisit said site. Even more annoying is when said cross does not manifest itself until 5-second countdown timer finishes. I've noticed this shit is getting incrementally worse. We don't want to go back to the horror years of the late 90s and early 2000s, when our screen was sprayed with half a dozen browser windows every time you opened Netscape or IE4. Old man rant over, and that's from Aaron. Yeah, totally agree with you, Aaron. And so here's the beautiful thing. You're asking a web developer about this, so I've got some insight for you. I also fucking hate splash screens. Now, there's one thing I hate most about splash screens is when I go to a site, and this is just a silly thing, when I go to a site, a splash screen comes up with like, get 25% off your first order if you sign up for email. And I'm like, no, fuck that. And I close it. And then I go, oh, wait, I actually do want to order something. How do I get back to that offer? And I can't fucking find it.
It is fucking gone.
So first off, you fuckers, figure out a way to make sure I can get back to that offer if you're going to put it up on my screen. Now, splash screens are an incredibly irritating thing that clients like to ask for all the time because they think they're useful and for no reason. It's like a splash screen that says, download our app. And I try really hard to dissuade them. I'll be like, well, why don't we just put like a banner alert at the top of the screen? Go ahead.
No, I got a little insight for you because I was going to college for business, and that was one of my web development.
You talked about splash
advertising
screens?
Was one of them.
Pop-ups?
The reason why all your clients ask for that is not because they think somebody will click it.
No,
is because the opportunity is there for one, accidental clicks. Because once it
Sure.
gets a click through rate, that's what
but
it
that's
is. Two,
but that's for an ad.
But even just for an ad, for a splash screen, because even if it's not something that you want to get, they're not looking necessarily for you to buy that thing. And they think, well, even if you're one step closer, you're one step closer to buying that thing no matter what. So they would rather irritate you into just going, oh, fuck it, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. I get that. Now, but from a marketing standpoint, when you see the full screen ads and shit that pop up and they have those little tiny buttons that never work, that's just to inflate numbers.
Yeah, that's just to fucking fuck with you.
Yeah, that's so they can get a bunch of fucking bullshit clicks, and then they can go back to their client and say, oh, your click-through rate was 5%, so good, because it's completely inflated. And then if you look at the time on site or the interactions on site after that, there's nothing. It's just shit.
Absolutely.
But they don't tell you that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times people have come to me with campaigns and they're like, oh, we spent $5,000 this month on this campaign. Can you tell us what this report means? And I read it and I go, yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit they came up with to make you think it's doing well.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Just opened Excel, let it calculate on its own a bunch of nonsense, and just gave it to you.
They'll go and they'll say, oh, you had 37 leads this month. And then they break it down into categories that the client has no idea what the hell they are. And I go, oh, yeah, none of those were related to your campaign. They're telling you you had 37 leads generated, but none of them were generated through the campaign you spent $5,000 on. They just aren't telling you that. It's lying by omission. They make
that's really what it is. That's literally what it is.
So that's a different story. Now the splash screens, they come and I'll say, well, okay, if you want to do a splash screen, fine. Let's just cookie the user so it only shows up once, and then the next visit doesn't. And they'll go, no, I want it to pop up every time they come to the site. Okay, well, why don't we cookie them for the session so it only comes up once? No, I want it on every page they go to. I don't know why they come up with these ideas and think it's a good concept.
Because they're not planning on even going to the website. They're never gonna open that website.
Not the client, but they'll come and be like, oh, can you put a splash screen for our app? And I'm like, no one's going to download your app, insurance company. No one's going to download your local insurance company app.
Insurance website, or they call.
Yeah, it's
like nobody.
I could spend an entire podcast talking about client stories and the dumb shit they ask me to do and how I desperately try to talk them out of it. And eventually I just give it and say, all right, fuck it. And then they come back to me later and wonder why something's wrong. And I say, it's because of that dumb fucking thing you asked me to do. But yeah, man, I feel your pain. I absolutely despise splash screens on phones. You're right. The button is incredibly hard to click on. Oh, and also, a lot of times there could be conflicts with CSS and JavaScript that fucks up the click.
I was about to say on the phone, and the phone can't read that. Yep.
And like you try to click the X, and the actual touch spot where it's triggered is like an inch below it by accident, not even on purpose.
So
it just totally fucks with people.
I have a quick story with a splash screen because of last week. I had an error with Outlook. And so for my job, I have to open Outlook, and I had to go to this meeting on Team Meets.
Oh, Teams? Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, Teams. Microsoft Teams.
Oh, that is the worst app.
I have to use the Microsoft Authenticator to, and I don't have access to the password reset. That goes straight to the IT guys.
This is so smart. It's well done setup, boy.
But I have to set it up. So I download Teams. I can't open it because I have to open the Authenticator. I open the Authenticator, it's grayed out. Like, okay, that sucks. So then I go to reset the password. This is how I found out IT gets it and I don't. I go to reset the password, nothing shows up in my email. So I was told, hey, you know what? Maybe you should just uninstall and reinstall Microsoft on the Authenticator. That's what I do. Now I can't see my account. I go to log in. The Authenticator then says, use the Authenticator to get the code from the Authenticator to open the Authenticator. I know I said Authenticator like 5 times.
No, this is the way it works. This is the way it works.
So, okay. Do you want to change your password? Yeah, I'll change my password, and then I'll be able to get in. Change my password. Logs me out of my email. So now I can't log into my email.
And then you try to log in
Authenticator
once again
to get into the email.
Yeah, there you go.
But the Authenticator is not working because I don't have the accounts to the Authenticator. So then it says, go to the website, my company website, and they have a fucking splash screen.
For what?
And I have to use it on my phone because I'm in my car a town away. I can't use my laptop. And my
Oh, that's
laptop
even
already
worse.
doesn't have my information.
Oh, you're trying to do this shit on a phone in a car too? Oh.
And it's raining outside. I'm just trying to get into my store, because if I don't go into the store, I have to go in the store and then I have to log in. I can't log in because I can't get my email. So I am desperate. I called my boss. He's in a meeting, so he hasn't gotten back to me. I'm doing it, and now I'm fucking around with the splash screen. And it would pop up every tab I went to, so I would hit back and it would bring me back, and then the splash screen to come up again. Right, exactly where you said when I was tapping was not where it was going. So I thought I was being a smart person, and I opened Chrome and I went, okay, load as desktop
mode. Yep.
It stretched the splash screen outside of my phone's
that's just poor
limits.
development. That's poor development, boys.
And I was like, I can't. I was in my car. I swear there was an old lady sitting next to me, watching me scream, shaking the hell out of my steering wheel.
You went farther than me.
Nervous breakdown.
I just get to the point. I go, you know what? Fuck this, and I'm done. I literally had this very similar problem yesterday. I was trying to make a change to with my business. I use Google Workspace for my business accounts, and I was trying to make a change to a Google Ads account. And it popped up and said, you need to authenticate yourself with 2FA. And it wanted to connect to my phone, which is a new thing. I have 2FA turned on with, I have a Titan key. So it's a little keychain thing, and it can connect via Bluetooth, NFC, or USB to authenticate. It didn't ask for that. It said it wanted to connect to my phone. So try to connect to my phone. My phone pops up, says, do you want to authenticate? And I click yes. And then it says it couldn't find, I don't know what it said, any sessions for Google on my phone. I said, I have 3 Google accounts on my phone. I don't know why it's not working. So I said, try another way. And then it said, okay, press yes on your phone or tablet. And I clicked the button, and it only sent it to my Pixel tablet, which is like 6 years old and sits on my nightstand instead of my phone. And in the settings, it says it's supposed to send it to like all of your devices. I checked the settings to make sure I had it set up right.
Set it to one.
Only send it to one. And it says in the screen, only sent it to your Pixel tablet. I wouldn't send it to anything else. It wasn't giving me an option to send me a text message, because a lot of times it gives you text yourself a code. And then the only other thing it gave me was I could go into the Google settings app on my phone and get a one-time passcode. So I did that. And then I typed in the passcode. It told me the code was wrong. And I just went, fuck this. And I closed it. I was so angry.
Fucking nuts.
I tried 4 different authentication messages. None of them worked. And it wouldn't give me the easy one, the text message. I don't know why it wouldn't give it to me. So I gave up, and I just said, fuck it. In fact, I still have to do that. I didn't actually do what I needed to do on the account because I gave up. Yeah, I can't fucking stand it. But yeah, thank you for that email. Guys, send us more emails. Tell us more things that you hate, and feel free to complain. We like complaining. And
I think we went on for like 11 minutes about that.
Yeah. See what you did there, Aaron? You gave us a lot of 11 minutes of material. All right, we're going to get into our topic here, if I could find the right thing there.
It's time to begin the complaining.
Yeah, this week we are talking about, and we may change the title after when we actually go to post this, but we're going to talk about red pill guys, or
the manosphere,
or the men's rights movement, or whatever. So the reason this is a topic is because I may have mentioned this on a previous episode too. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I was not feeling well like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I was having trouble sleeping, and I just pulled my phone out. And I was going through YouTube Shorts, actually. I wasn't using TikTok. I was using YouTube Shorts, and just kind of scrolling through videos. And it was like, silly meme videos, and they were making me laugh and stuff. And then one came up of this guy, and I don't remember the first one I saw, but it's this guy who hosts a podcast where he brings in local women. And from my continued hate watching, I found out he goes on like Tinder or Bumble or one of the dating apps to find these women, and then I guess contacts them, says, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? And then brings them into the studio and then has these conversations with them. Sometimes he has a co-host that's also a piece of shit like he is.
Yeah.
And he basically just shames them like as much as possible and brings up quality bullshit that makes no sense.
Did you see what he looked like?
Yeah, well, so a bunch of them
No, I'm not making fun of the way he looks. I'm just saying don't know if it's if I'm thinking of the same person you're thinking of.
He's a white dude with kind of short hair, a little bit of a beard. Was wearing like a plaid collared button up shirt.
Who I was thinking of.
Well, there's a few different ones that I ended up finding.
That's why.
There's another one. There's one with a black dude with really short buzzed head. Mm-hmm. And that guy was like decent looking. Different.
I'm not making fun of the way they look. I'm not bad looking dudes.
I'm not making fun of the way they look either. But it's the incel community, which I feel like goes hand in hand with these people sometimes.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
You have a picture in your head. Well, you have a picture in your head, right, of an incel. And these guys, I mean, again, an incel can look like anything, so I'm stereotyping too. But in my head, the picture of an incel, these guys.
Every incel looks like they're very sad.
These guys look very sad.
They share it right on their fucking sleeves.
I don't remember the first one, but he like the shit he was saying. He's bringing up body count and saying that men are supposed to have a high body count because they're young and virile and they want to.
We're hunters. We go out. We get like we're supposed to collect women. And we're trying to spread our seed to the most viable woman, but the woman if they have a high body count, they have low value. They have low values and they and all that shit. Yeah,
they don't have enough. They're not focused on commitment. They're focused on fucking and having fun. They're not looking for a man.
These assholes are people I got tired of when I was in college. But because and I hate the fact that they're popular now. But my whole shtick with that is. These are people who, like myself, and this is reason why I get so upset about it, had traumatic events with women, like in relationships that affected them, but instead of looking inward, they started attacking outward.
Yeah, that's a very good
fucking clear
insight.
That's what they're doing. It doesn't matter what they look like, it doesn't matter how much money they have. Because you know what? When my girlfriend in college broke up with me because and this is what fucked me up, she ended up sleeping with the guy that hooked me and her up. She cheated on me with him, so that messes with your head. I went in that mindset where I was just like, fuck women. I'm in love with money. I want to focus on money. I'm going to be like that. And then I went, no, you know what? She was just like, the signs were there. I could have done better. But it took me about a year and a half to get through that. These people decided they're going to hold on to that feeling and then monetize other people who are hurt.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they're fucking doing,
dude. Some of I'm trying to think of other terrible examples. He's talking to a woman about paying for dates, and she's like, "Well, yeah, I like when the guy picks up check. Well, why should I pay for everything? Shouldn't no? Why should I pay? Why shouldn't we split it? Why shouldn't you pay? Well, I'm just like I don't know. I guess I'm a traditional girl. I like the man to pay for dinner. Oh, you're a traditional girl? Are you a virgin? What? No. Are you a virgin? Or if you're a traditional girl, then you must have traditional values and you don't sleep with. But he's just bullshit. He's taking two things that don't necessarily equate each other and just putting them together like you have to have one without the other.
But it does equate to the audience. The audience is like, well,
I know.
Look,
no, I know that.
I'm and dining you owe me some pussy because that's all you really have value to.
And that's his point.
Value is like how well you have, like if you have sex with me.
Yeah, that's it. That was his point too. Just going on about that, talking to women and oh my God, just the amount of dumb fucking shit that was coming out of his mouth. And the thing that really pissed me off was it was very clear. Both guys, the other guy too, the black guy and this white guy, both of the guys, it was very clear to me that they went out and they found not dumb women, not unprepared women who were not ready to come in and talk to this guy who all he does is spew this garbage.
Yes.
And then just try to embarrass them and make them seem like sluts, like morons, like and just confuse the fuck out of them to make it seem like he had a valid point.
Look,
because he'd make his point, ask them, and they weren't prepared. So they're like, I don't know what to say to this moron that's spewing this dumb bullshit to me.
Because what seems like would be common sense isn't common sense for him. That, you know, these women, these vagina owners are human beings.
Yeah. No, they
have
100%.
their own experiences and they're not a monolith.
No, he definitely doesn't see that way.
But no, because most of them, like, being an incel, like being frustrated with not, like, being able to get, like, sex or companionship or anything like that, because usually it turns into shit. I'm not getting sex. Then fuck. Nobody even wants me. Like I can't even get a straight companion, like a
I can see that.
companion with me. And well, fuck. All women just seem to treat me the same way. Well, fuck. Now it's just like all these women think the same. They're all the same. All these women are the same. It doesn't matter what they look like, because generally the way men brains work, we're not super picky. We have pickiness with us.
Right.
Don't get us wrong. A guy can be picky, but generally in the stereotype of what a man is, we're not picky. If a girl offers, mostly a guy will go, yeah, and the likelihood of a woman doing that is the opposite.
Right.
And that's the stereotype. But they turn that into the gospel. And it just becomes what women are. And then these fucking parasites come down, they recognize that pain, and they go, you know what? I mean, they're not as good looking at me. I'm going to make them think I'm cool by talking about all these sex stories I had. Because they're misogynists. They're more misogynist than they are incel. Because again, their audiences are incels. I don't think these assholes are.
No, they're not incels. They are 100%.
But their audience,
or maybe they're not misogynists.
Incels.
Maybe it's all an act. I don't know. Maybe it's just like you said.
Even if you're acting as a misogynist,
you're a misogynist.
If you are willing to do misogynist shit,
that's true. That's true.
You are a misogynist, regardless.
No, you're right.
Look, I'm not a racist, but I make sure to not have Jews near me at all. You see, then you are a fucking racist,
right? No, you're right.
Even though
you're right.
Jew isn't a race, but
we get
you get the point.
To bring it back to your point where they're thinking, you're right. That's it. They're thinking, none of these women seem to like me. None of these women want to go out with me. It must be a problem with women as a whole that think this way. Instead of going, well, maybe I'm just not putting off the right vibe. Yeah, maybe I'm not putting off the right vibe to make somebody actually want to associate with me. They probably don't think about the fact they don't have any friends either that aren't like them.
They do have friends.
Well, that aren't like them.
Like them.
Yeah.
And my thing is, they become so insular. Look, I'm a hermit, so I can become super insular.
Yeah, me too.
But I recognize that about myself.
Sure.
And I know it's not other people's fault. As much as I want to lash out sometimes, I know it's not them. It's mainly me.
Yeah, me too. I understand that it's not, I'm the same way. I don't like being around large crowds of people. I don't like being around people I don't know. Yeah. And it's not them. It's not anything wrong with them. It's just my own insecurities and feelings of anxiety that make that happen. It has nothing to do with them.
Yeah. And incels, we've had multiple murders done by incels or self-proclaimed incels to the point that they're, the internet cycle happens where they want to amplify it because to them it's not real. So they get people who have become sycophants for that kind of thing and want the infamy for being like that. But again, there's people like assholes like Andrew Tate who just take who's a misogynist.
He's like the godfather to these guys.
And which is funny because I remember seeing that asshole years ago and is he real?
Yeah.
I thought he was funny, but not funny as in haha, funny. He's not going to make it because he's just so goofy, but he was consistent. He grinded to be consistently what he is now.
No, I agree.
And nothing will ever there's nothing that'll happen that'll make him admit that he's a piece of shit. Because it's always going to be somebody else. He's going to do the same thing that all these fucking assholes do. It's always somebody else. This one dude who's part of Andrew Tate's little circle, Sneeko. Funny that you brought him up. Sneeko.
There's a Meat Canyon video about him.
Yeah.
Just a couple days ago.
Fucking him and Charlie, or Moist Critical, had it out. And he was he called these guys cucks and, whatever. But I'm just you use that term, yet you were cucked. And I know he hated being called a cuck. He hated all that shit, which is fine. But you throw that out, and you don't have enough self-awareness to know that you get what you put out. You literally put that out there. But I realize most of these fuckers don't. Or if they do, they don't care. They rather have the continuous fighting and arguing because that makes them revenue. And the incels want to feel they want their hug box so fucking bad. They want their echo chamber so fucking bad. They seriously want their what is it, their confirmation bias to be so correct that they're willing to sell their fucking souls.
Oh, they are definitely doing that.
To just to feel like they're justified in their own existence. I'm sorry, wash your ass a few times, at least a few times a week. Two times a week at the very fucking most. Actually go out, fight that anxiety. I know it fucking sucks and there is no answer for that anxiety. You just have to do it. You have to learn to accept rejection. I hate rejection. That's why I got married. I just can't, and I can't stand rejection.
It took me a long time to get over the anxiety of rejection. I mean, it took me a very long time to get over that hurdle, and I don't know why, but when I was young,
it's just terrifying.
Like the idea of rejection was the end of the world,
bro.
It took me a long time. Yeah, but it took me so long to just go, why? Like, why would that be the end of the world?
Lucky you went through that. I never did.
Yeah, I finally got to the point where I just thought to myself, what? Why? What's going to happen? So she said. So I asked the girl to go to dinner with me or something. She says no. No, thank you. She's not going to be. Unless I picked the wrong woman, she's not going to be like, ew, fuck you, gross. She's gonna. I don't know. I did that voice. She's just gonna go. She's gonna go. No, that's no. Thank you for asking, but I'm not interested. Okay, how's that the end of the world? When it comes down to it, I'm gonna feel like shit, but I'll get over it, right?
But this is where I'm going in. This is actually you doing that voice, because they're attacking everyone, even level-headed people. But the people that they're actually responding to without knowing that they're doing it are the exaggerated opposite end of that spectrum.
Sure.
The one that, I don't need no man, or all men are gross. Because remember, there's that anti-manosphere.
But it's that tiny little percentage that is.
They're a tiny little percent.
That's true. I mean, tiny little percentages are amplified.
These
like crazy now.
The internet amplifies the loudest fucking idiots ever. They just amplify them. Like I again, like the fact that there's feminist movement that came up where and I don't know if she was exaggerating, but this woman said, if I have a boy, I'm going to abort it. If I have a girl, I'm going to teach her to hate men. Like, this was Twitter, mind you. Twitter or Tumblr. It was one of those two websites.
Yeah, there's definitely that side too. I guess the algorithm doesn't show me that because it doesn't think it knows I'm a middle-aged white man. So it probably knows I'm an angry guy.
When you texted me that, I actively follow people who talk about these topics, mainly because, again, I'm fascinated by weird human beings.
So you also maybe you don't hate watch it then. I was hate watching.
I can't hate watch it because I get too angry, and I can't have a way of really releasing that in a positive way.
That was the problem. I mean, I can't hold on to that. I probably spent an hour or an hour and a half that night, and I kept watching, looking for them. And I was like, I can't fucking believe these people are saying this on camera, or that they actually believe it.
Saying it with their fucking chest, too.
Yeah, and then the next couple of nights, I kept doing it, and I'm just like, I got to the point, and then my feed was just overrun with that shit, and started putting up really conservative or Trumpy shit in my feed.
The fact that you said that, have you not noticed a lot of them are conservatives? And
of course. And
a lot of them lean conservative, and a whole fucking lot of them are religious. Well, superficially religious.
I was just going to say there's a lot of crossover between that mindset and the conservative viewpoint in general, because it's conservative values and, just in general keeping to ourselves and maintaining this view of America the way it was in the 50s or whatever. And then there's a lot of religious crossover where it's the same thing. It's women should be in the kitchen mindset, which is just, but yeah, it's the algorithm knows that. And guess what? The algorithm learns from your activity, you fucks. So all you fucks out there who are watching this shit because you really enjoy it, and then are going and watching all these Trump videos because you like that hateful side of conservatism, and you're that piece of shit too, you're teaching the algorithm that those two things go hand in hand. And so my feed was just fucking decimated for like a week, and I had to keep going. Don't show me this. Don't show me this. Don't show me this, to finally kind of get it cleaned up. But yeah, it just started. It got away from dumb memes to, oh, have you seen this video about how the liberals are ruining America? Have you seen this video about how the Jews own Hollywood?
Look,
I'm like,
it
no.
sucks being being somebody who the algorithm doesn't understand, because I find the liberals insufferable.
Me too, to a very large extent.
And the PC ideal of, you can't say that. Like there's this one liberal and I feel like he's very performative, but this liberal YouTuber called Nick Is Not Green. I followed him for like 3 months, and I kind of like some of his music and rap stuff, but then I started going, he's very fucking annoying, because he's just like, he's picking like low-hanging fruit and then not
you were
adding
hate watching
anything to it.
You were hate watching too.
Hold on,
you're just starting to dislike him.
I stopped following him when I started like actively feeling like that.
I did get to that point. It just took me a week or two.
There was another guy I started
this is bad
watching,
for me.
On the liberal side, who's also friends with him, called Mr. Beard, who I think is super creative. Very creative guy. That's one thing I can't say about a lot of like conservative content creators that I've seen. I don't find them creativity. Very creative.
Well, it goes hand in hand. You have a very closed mindset. I mean, you have a closed mindset that's literally you have a very closed mindset that says this is the way the world is supposed to be, and you're not open to anything else.
Snark is like their main thing. But Mr. Beard, he actually replied to me directly on one, and this is how I realized. And then I stopped following him too, because he was like overly sensitive about things. Where it was, and mind you, these two guys are like very anti-manosphere types.
Well, at least they got that going for them.
And like he in one video, like, he did something. He was talking about capitalism, whatnot. How I do anti-capital. I don't really like capitalism, but I openly say that there's nothing I can do about it. I just don't like it. And I still need to get money. I have a fucking family.
Right.
I just feel like one day we could do better without it. But he would like preach about how bad it is, and then it cut straight to a commercial he did in the middle of his video. And I felt the juxtaposition was just funny. Because he literally was like, that was really bad. And unlike other things I say, he didn't segue into it in a way that it was like snarky. Like, I bring just up jump cut. Yeah, I just bring up some more news a lot. When they do their ads, they do it in the most backhanded way. It is fucking funny. So I was expecting something like that, but I wasn't following some more news at the time. But I made a comment about it. And not even 2 hours later, Mr. Beard replied to me, kind of in a defensive sort of way, going, well, I live in a capitalist society, so I need to like do this. Like, I was just laughing about how seconds after you said something about capitalism being bad, you didn't segue, you just went into this. And I made a comment about another video, and he did the same fucking thing. And yet, somebody on TikTok made fun of Nick Is Not Green recently. And Nick Is Not Green made like this pity party post about like, I just can't take it anymore. People making fun of me. And then sent people to attack this girl, essentially, by being pity partying.
That's nice.
Doing the same shit that his manosphere people would do, but in a pussy kind of way.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Beard goes and like defensively gives his backhanded defense about what he does. Like, people just shouldn't make fun of Nick Is Not Green. I'm like, see, how do you not notice you are the exact same way as these fucking people? And you're giving them an hands up because at least they say it with their chest. That's what they're going to say. They're still shit. They are still shit because behind the scenes, they pick people who are unprepared. They don't do well against people who are prepared. They don't let people talk.
Oh,
and they don't listen.
They would never let somebody who was prepared in. Oh no, they don't listen. They don't listen. They talk over. They interrupt. They don't let. There's a whole variety of tactics they use to make themselves look. It's not they're literally doing that trick of like the girl hanging out with an ugly girl to make herself look better. you
Yeah.
know, they're literally doing that.
Like,
They're just
because
they bring in these people that are going to make them look smarter by default because the people look so unprepared. They're interrupting them. They're not letting them get out a sentence, so they're making them look like they can't stand up for themselves or can't speak up for themselves. It's just so bad, and it's just, I was so infuriated, like a good 3 or 4 days out of watching these at night, that I just was like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this?
You're poisoning yourself slowly.
I know. I'm just like, this is just some idiot on the internet that's saying dumb fucking shit, and I'm giving him my eyes. I'm putting my eyes on him and allowing him to make money off of people like me that are just watching because they hate him so much and can't believe he's saying the dumb shit he's saying and can't wait to see the next stupid fucking thing that comes out of his mouth.
The reason why I get so mad about it is because, and a lot of people do, is because their core audience, one, are incels, which I do feel bad for mainly. I do mainly feel bad for incels.
Yeah,
I know that when they get to the point of being an incel, they're just pity partying themselves. But I still feel bad for them because I can relate.
There is a mental health aspect to it,
yeah.
You know, where there's definitely something going on there that needs to be addressed. So,
but also a lot of them are teenagers. And I know that the teenagers have to grow out of it, but some of these LA, California ass motherfuckers don't grow the fuck up. I don't know if that's a cultural thing for like that part of the world or the part of the US, really, but they just don't grow the fuck up. And I don't mean like, pay your taxes. No, I'm on a podcast where I talk about balls all the time. I'm not talking about like act like a grown up. I'm talking about being respectful of other people. Like, even if I hate you, I'm gonna very at least, if one of those assholes were on our podcast, I would respect them. I'll call them stupid to their face, but I'm gonna allow them to have their argument, and then I'm gonna rebut.
Sure. Oh, could you imagine though?
No, because they'll fucking talk over me, and I'll lose my shit.
No, they would never do it. They would never allow themselves to be in a position where they're talking to somebody who's prepared that can actually explain to them how fucking dumb they are. It reminds me of if you look at like Richard Dawkins' videos or Christopher Hitchens' videos where they're debating theism with like a priest or like church scholar that knows about their bubble. The person's there knows about Catholicism, Christianity, but doesn't understand other religions. So when they get into the argument and the atheists, Christopher Hitchens or Dawkins are there and have all of these worldviews because they've studied different religions and different beliefs and can speak to all of them. And they're talking to somebody that has one specific mindset and only knows their bubble. They sound dumb because they don't know how to respond when you're bringing up things. And I'm not shitting on them. They're just not prepared for that kind of debate. And I hate those debates because I hate when they go in and try to make them look like idiots for being religious, because it just makes you look bad. But it's the same thing. It's the same general idea.
Thing. And it bothers me when, like, again, I have my beliefs. We all do.
Sure.
But I try so hard, and a lot of them just say fuck it to be respectful of other people's shit. The fact that you said they go on fucking Tinder and like, hey, you want to be on our podcast, and since the person consented, not knowing or not understanding what they're putting themselves into, like, well, you're going on to their podcast. That gives them power.
Yeah, it's genius on their part too, because they're obviously going to find women who are looking for partners to sleep with and to have sex with, and that's literally what they're trying to target. They're looking for that woman who is sexually open, because that's what they're preaching against and how that's bad and that these people are terrible and women shouldn't be like that. So they're literally bringing in fodder. I mean, it's just. They had one where the one woman she had stripped and she had done adult films, and her boyfriend or fiance was with her on the podcast, and she told her story. She explained, we had no money. We were living in our car. He was having trouble finding work. I couldn't find work. I finally said, like, I could go start stripping at least to give us so we have some money so we can live, so we can buy food. And I don't know, maybe she was being a little hyperbolic. Maybe she was making shit up. I have no fucking clue. Yeah. But you have to take what she's saying at face value. And she's such saying, and then, we don't know. somebody said to me, somebody told me, hey, if you do some videos, you can make better money doing that. So she did a couple of videos. So this woman is literally working in the sex industry just because that's the only option available to her. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. If you want to do that, awesome. But in her case, she was doing it because it was the only option available to her. Mm-hmm. And the dude just immediately started in on her about, oh, well, he couldn't. It started with the guy. Oh, you couldn't find any other job.
Part of it,
yeah, you couldn't find a job.
Yep.
You couldn't find another way to make money. And then just started shitting on her for what she had to do to live, as if, you know, it was her choice. And even if it was her choice, fuck you. She's allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants. If that's what she wants to do, fine. But
absolutely.
But and this is a woman who had no
talking.
choice.
These assholes are talking like they've never been to a strip club. Let's be fucking real.
That's probably the only place they've seen breasts out in person.
Like, I don't care how much money they have because they're gonna try to spread that. No, because money can be gotten by a bunch of different means. And if manipulating others is your means of making money, then I don't say you're a successful con artist.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much being like the tallest short person. Like you're not.
Yes,
you're not really much of anything. You're a piece of shit. That's why you could say, like, you know, Elon Musk is the richest person in the world. Yeah, he's also the biggest piece of shit in the world. What are you trying to say? Like, okay, good. He got money. He didn't build the electric car. People keep saying he built Teslas. He's a real Iron Man.
Bought
he didn't
Tesla.
Build shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
He didn't even found the company, did he?
No,
I believe he bought the company. He
bought
that.
It.
He bought SpaceX.
He got money from his parents and bought the company. And then had a bunch of ideas and put people together who were able to do the things that he kind of wanted to have done. He didn't build it himself.
Right. No, 100%. 100%. I hate that argument.
Nobody, when we watch a movie, does anybody go, man, that producer did a great job making this movie? I have not heard once anybody said the producer did a great job making a movie.
No.
It's just like, oh, this producer had good taste in financing this.
No,
that's all that is.
Yeah, I've never heard. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I've never heard a producer take credit for creating a good movie either. Because I think for the most part, they know, like, I just funded it and got the resources together. I didn't do a shit. Penn Jillette is producing a movie, and he's talked a little bit on his podcast, and he said, I didn't do shit. I just helped get the resources together. I didn't do shit to make this movie. It's a great movie. No thanks to me. It has nothing to do with me.
That's it. If you want to give me any credit, is thank you for putting the money down, Daddy. That's it. Like,
yeah. Well,
unrelated to Manosphere shit, real quick. I stumbled on something last night because I was showing my wife the Blue Beetle trailer that came out.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I saw it in my feed. I did not watch it yet.
I will say, this is my fingers crossed, hope that this is the unknown superhero, the least known superhero is the one that makes DC start working again, because it looks pretty interesting. He looks like he might be the Spider-Man for the DCU.
Well, think about, Guardians was like, nobody really knew what Guardians was as far as,
and it was such a great MCU film, right?
It's probably my favorite MCU film.
Yeah.
And a Peacemaker too, similar. Peacemaker was a great series. Really good series, unknown character.
I think it's The Suicide Squad. It was really good.
Yeah, I watched this when I had COVID. I watched the Suicide Squad and then started watching Peacemaker, Homelander.
You're going to say Homelander.
That's the voice. I started watching Peacemaker right after. It was a great time for media in my life. But yeah,
so I saw that, and then it popped up. I went and said, "Hey, they showed the red carpet opening for Mario and Jack Black." Oh, no. I wanted to show my wife how Jack Black was dressed.
Yeah,
he was dressed like in a blazer.
Did he have Bowser suit on?
He had a blazer with like fire on the cuffs and on the pants, cool. And then the Bowser spike sticking out of the back of his blazer.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
That looks like it'd be uncomfortable to sit, but goddamn, I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I want to like that movie, but I'm so filled with just irritation that the way they did the voicing, just like everybody else is mad because he doesn't go, it's to me, and sound like a stereotypical Italian man.
I feel like he is so, like, Chris Pratt is so main character, run of the middle of the road white guy at this point.
Yeah,
like skinny Chris Pratt is.
Yeah,
that I'm not gonna. as long as everyone else is good, I'm not going to be bothered by anything.
That's true.
And the fact Jack Black was so good, just hearing his voice come out of Bowser was just so perfect that there's nothing I could.
Jack Black. I fucking love Jack Black. I love everything he does. I love the fact that he got famous and then took his band and was like, we're going to make the band work too, and did some amazing work with Tenacious D. And then was like, you know what we should do? Let's just make a ridiculous fucking stoner movie just because I made Pick of Destiny. That's one of my favorite movies. It's a fantastic movie with a fantastic soundtrack. I love that he just follows his passions. Like, I got money to do it. I'm just going to do the dumb shit I want to do and make it for the people that are going to like it.
The first time I ever lost my voice, I was doing a karaoke rock band. It was a rock band competition.
The game? Rock band, the game? I used to play
convention.
That all the time.
At a convention, we did, like, on a stage, a full rock band competition. I lost my voice during the second song because it was Master Exploder. And I can do.
I did not mean.
I can do. I used to be able to do that whole thing without losing my breath.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
And I lost my voice after doing the beginning part. Like,
I can see it. It's hard. Dude, he just belts it.
Like, I was at home doing it, so I could do it. And I was so mad because we did so well in the first song, and then you waited, and then everybody went, then somebody got voted off, and you do the second song. We didn't get voted off, even though I lost my voice, but I didn't get it back for the third song. So I had to have somebody else sing for me.
That's rough.
But going back really quick, so then I saw another trailer. I didn't know that they were coming out with a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Mutant Mayhem.
And let me just say this. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have never been teenagers.
No. Didn't seem to be. I know.
We said they were teenagers. In the comics, they didn't look or act like teenagers.
Well, how could they look? They're turtles.
They didn't look.
What's a teenage turtle look like?
They look like teenagers now in this movie.
No, you're right. I guess that is what they're supposed to look. Yeah, you're right.
They're played by teenagers. Their voice actors are teenagers. Hearing that squeaky child voice come out of Donatello,
it's good, right?
Like, my wife, her face twisted, and she was like, she didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, I don't either, but I like it. I like hearing them sounding like kids. The fact that
I'm excited. It looks like a good movie.
Jackie Chan is going to be a Splinter with a Afro Jerry curl. I just. And
it looks really good. I'm excited about that one.
So good, and people are like bitching about it because April's black again. I was like, you know what? We're past this point.
Of course,
we're never going to get a white April ever again. I'm sorry. It's just I'm sorry. It's not my choice. I don't care either way because April was kind of bleh.
I don't care either way. But I understand both arguments. I understand the argument if it's where you're actually coming from, that you go, that's not the way it was in the comics. Like, you got to follow the comics. It's the tradition of the characters. April was white. You know, it doesn't make sense to race bend her. Yeah. But that's not usually where it's actually coming from. Let's be honest.
That's a weird, it's a weird argument to have because of what you said. It's like, it really depends on who says it. Like, if
that's
it's
what I mean.
An overweight white guy with a giant beard saying it, chances are you know where it's coming from.
Well, that's the problem. Like, I think
also. But if the opposite comes from, like, a black woman with super thick glasses and purple hair, chances are you know where that's coming from. You're arguing for it, but I don't like you because I know you're doing it for that reason.
And that's the problem. I mean, I think a lot of people is just like you and me, like, whatever, who fucking cares? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Does it really matter? No. But when you hear people complain about it, it makes me think the fact that I couldn't care less. And I turned Ninja Turtles were my shit growing up. Yep. I mean, it was, I don't remember the order. I think it was Voltron, Thundercats, He-Man, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or maybe I forget the exact order, but those were my four. Roster, those were my four growing up. Roster. Those were the ones I went through. Yeah, it was, I forget the order, but it was those four were mine growing up. So, I mean, the Ninja Turtles were my shit. When the first series Ninja Turtles came out, I had a birthday party in first grade, and all I asked for was the Ninja Turtles figures, and I got all of them except fucking April. Like, I got like 3 Donatellos.
Because April's such an innocuous, boring character. She's just literally, she's the only thing about her is that the turtles liked her and saved her. And
No, I know,
that
but
was it. And
I
that's it.
wanted the whole set though, and I got like
Oh.
4 of like 3 different ones. And on the idiots at my party, the kids were like opening them, so I couldn't bring them back to exchange them.
Oh.
So I never had the complete set. But anyway, back to my point. I don't give a fuck. Make April O'Neil whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's the character's the character.
Look,
I don't care.
As long as April literally follows the structure of the way April is, that's all I care about.
Well, it's the same with
They're trying
Holly
to make
Bailey.
Yeah,
Play
I'm
Little
sorry.
Mermaid.
The most offensive version of April was the what's her fucking name? The model that's dating or married to Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, April O'Neil was played by what's her name? Fucking Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. That was the most offensive version of her. I don't give a shit. She had nothing to do with anything. They didn't go, oh well, she named them. Why do that? Why the fuck do that? And if you're gonna make her white, make her a redhead then. There's no representation for redheads anymore.
Well, they don't have souls, so it doesn't matter.
They're all dying out because they're soulless,
Just kidding.
or they just can't come out into the sun. But
They're,
no, I'm just.
They can't come out and pick it because they'll all burn to death.
Besides Merida, we
I
don't
know,
have
man.
any like modern redheads.
I got that ginger skin.
But no, to me, she was the most offensive version of her. She was vapid and empty. For the original April O'Neil, the live action one, huh?
Because it didn't fit the character. That's why it was offensive.
It was just Megan Fox just had to be there because Megan Fox had to be there. She was the it girl of the time.
It's Megan Fox. I mean, she doesn't know how to act more than herself. She plays herself. I mean, she just plays herself in anything she's in. And she originally obviously was just there to be eye candy in the movies. I mean, that's obviously why she was cast.
She essentially was the death knell for like old IPs getting like a new facelift. Because Transformers, I don't give a shit. She was a death knell for that. Like, yeah, she's terrible. I didn't like Transformers to begin with. Like, I mean, I love Transformers, like the cartoon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
I know you
the
meant.
movie, the Michael Bay Transformers. One, they knew what she was all about because the first time you see her long. She always looks
laying
wet.
over the car.
She always looks wet and oily.
All sweaty and
her
oily.
oily like legs working on a goddamn car like she knows what the fuck she's doing. And then Jazz's white black ass comes out like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm gonna do this. I heard radio. I only got BET. That's why I talk like this. Like, Jazz killed me. Jazz fucking. I was in the theater. And
wait,
Jazz
was that joke in the movie or did you make that up?
I don't know if they said he only had BET, but they only learned from certain radio signals.
Oh,
and
okay.
So, like, they killed Jazz
how they explained him
because they had to kill the black guy.
What's a horror movie?
Well, I just know that Jazz was small and he was fighting Megatron, and Megatron grabs him and he goes, yeah, motherfucker, what you want? And he just snaps him in half and throws him away. I'm like, really? Like, this is the move. This is the Transformers movie we've been waiting for.
I mean, it's Michael Bay, dude. What do you expect?
They messed
He's
up
not
Hot
a bastion
Rod.
of racial integrity, you know?
they messed up Hot Rod. Like, he's a French guy now. Hot Rod's my favorite.
It's like watching old Looney Tunes.
Oh my god,
stereotype characters.
Looney Tunes.
That's what they did with the Transformers. They just made them stereotypical characters.
Yeah, but just like what's his name that played Morbius? Like, they're a death knell for properties now.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him too. After the Joker.
Yeah, he's a death knell for like old IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you add him, I guarantee you it's
gonna
awful.
fail.
And it doesn't matter if they're a good actor or a bad actor. They just all have that same mold. Like, they look like they came from the same place.
I agree. And it's a bad place.
It's always a bad place.
I didn't tell
I just brought that up because I was excited about that, and I wanted to talk about something happy because I am
very excited about that.
The Manosphere stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them anymore because I don't want to give them any more credence. I really just wanted to say that they're horrible. They're just despicable for A, preying on the community that watches them, B, preying on the people they get to come on their shows or podcasts or whatever the fuck they're doing, and C, are just taking advantage of the internet to make money saying shitty, hateful things. I hate them. They're terrible. And that is why I hate you guys. I hate them. They don't like them. So I want to tell my UPS story. I forgot to tell my UPS story. And I want this is the way I am. This is the way I am. I woke up and I had to go drop off a package with UPS. So I went to Staples. It was like 2 days ago. And I was just like, I had a migraine and I was in a bad mood. I was just tired. I didn't sleep well. And I go to Staples, right? And you go up to the service area where they have the UPS counter and they have like all the print services and marketing services. And there's 2 fucking lines they've got divided off, right? One on the left says full service, UPS drop off. And I don't know. So basically anybody that needs help, like, hey, can you help me? I need to get this blown up and I need help. And then the right side says self-service, to use the copying machines, whatever other things they have over there where you could just go do it yourself. Very clear. Of course, I read signs and I go over and they've got taped off line. It says, please wait here. And I'm waiting on the left side because I need to drop off my UPS package. And there's a bunch of people over using the machines and stuff. And there's one guy there. He's trying to help somebody with something. He keeps going back and forth to a scanner. He's probably trying to scan something to get it right for the customer that he's helping. And this lady comes walking up, of course, on the right side. And again, there's not supposed to be a line there. You're supposed to just walk in and go. I'm sure they had plenty of people waiting in line that wanted to use the copiers. And they were like, well, let's just do this so they don't wait in line when they can just walk right over and use them. We don't want people to have to wait. Good move, Staples. And she walks up next to me on the right side and just stands there with her package. And I've got 2 boxes in my hands just sitting in front of me, like clear as day with labels on them. And I'm standing there and she looks at me and I'm just like standing there and I'm like, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. And she goes, are you waiting for the UPS? And I just looked down at my hands and I went, yeah. And she went, oh, okay. And then she kept standing there and I just was like, don't talk to me again. And she goes, is that the line? It's just me. It's just me. Like, it's not like there's a line. But I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was here before you.
You were
I'm
having
standing
flashbacks
here.
from the bottle deposit.
I know. But I'm standing there waiting. And she goes, is that the line? It's like, what the fuck do you think it is? Do you think I'm standing here for no fucking... Why would you ask me that question? I was so irritated. And I know I'm getting annoyed for no reason, right? I mean, what's a big deal? I was so irrationally angry. I was just like, yeah. It's exactly how I said it too. So then she comes and gets behind me.
Women.
Oh, those goddamn women. What was she doing in Staples? She should have been making a sandwich for her husband. Anyway. So she goes, okay. And then she gets behind me. I wasn't like a dick. I was just like,
you were just
exasperated.
Inside you were screaming.
Just like, yes. And then this fucking guy walks up in the right lane too. And then he stands there. And he looks over at us waiting in line. And he looks at me and he goes, are you waiting in line? And I went, yes. And he continues to stand there for a minute. And he goes, you could go up to the counter. They don't mind that, And I said, well, it says line starts here. And there's a piece of tape on the floor. I'm good. I'm just going to stand here if it's okay with you. And he continued to stand where he was. And didn't get in line. And he's like, okay. And then this poor girl, I see her standing in front of me and she's talking in her earpiece and she's like, what help with the print place, the UPS stuff and whatnot? And she's like, I don't know how to do that. And she's like, well, okay. And she's like, I can help you. And she calls me over and I just turned to the guy and I went, hey, look, she figured it out that I was waiting in line. And I walked over. And I had to explain to her.
She probably knew you were there the whole time, but she was just so like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to help. I don't.
She did. Well, she didn't know what she was doing. I helped her. Like we figured it out together. We figured out how to use, because she's trying to scan my package and she's not holding it far enough away. And I was like, you got to hold it farther away because you're not getting the whole code. And she kept accidentally scanning because there's like 6 barcodes on the fucking label now. She kept scanning the wrong one. I was like, you got to make sure you get this label because there's like, I don't know why there's so many. So I helped her. We figured it out. And got through it. She didn't scan them right because they weren't shown as being received when I checked. But eventually the UPS guy was going to come and pick them up. I knew eventually somebody's going to come and scan them. They're in the pile, right? But yeah, and then I had to explain to her because I was like, I wasn't being mean to you. I'm sorry. I was like, he didn't think that you'd be able to figure out I was waiting in line, standing where the line's supposed to start. So I just wanted to make sure he knew that you were able to figure out that we were waiting in line and weren't just standing there for no fucking reason. I said all that loud enough for him to hear, of course.
I know it came off like I was just treating you like you were an idiot, but I was actually trying to make him feel like an idiot for thinking you're an idiot and that you couldn't figure out how this worked.
Yeah, I didn't want her to think I was shitting on her, and but then I realized she's probably
it just to be sure.
I thought about it, and she probably didn't give a fuck at all. She probably wasn't even paying attention. She's probably just like, I don't want to do this shit. Yeah. But I was very satisfied because when I went to leave, that guy was still waiting in the wrong spot, and the people that were in the other line ahead of him moved up and had gotten service while he was waiting in the wrong spot still because he wasn't in line. Fucking asshole.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck you, people. Fuck you. Yeah, the woman was just I don't know. She was probably felt dumb and was just trying to make conversation. I don't know. But he was an asshole. That guy was a fucking dick. And I'm glad he felt like a dick. I hope he felt like a dick.
They don't mind. It's like they probably do.
Well, I wanted to say to him, I worked in retail, and when people were waiting in a line, I didn't like them just coming up and, like, I had a kiosk. I worked in the music department. I worked in the video games department. We had a kiosk, and people would kind of line up and wait in a line. I didn't like when they crowded around the whole fucking thing, because one, I'm trying to help somebody. I don't need you all crowding me. And two, then I can't tell. I'm trying to remember who was there first. Make a fucking line if there's fucking asshole. Not gonna go stand by the counter.
Heated. Like, I'm seeing it.
I was so mad. I was so mad. And I was like, and then I go wait by the counter. And if I were working there, I'd be like, fuck this guy that didn't follow the rules. I call on the next person in line.
If you talk to me again, I swear to God, I'm gonna pull your pants down, take the manscape out of this box, and shave your balls with it.
You know what's funny? That's exactly what I was dropping off. It's exactly what I was dropping off to return. It was my mask. I should have just taken it out and shoved it right up his ass and turned it on. Enjoy that, motherfucker. I'll keep you busy for the next 10 to 15 minutes.
There's insults like that when they're like, I'm going to shove it up your ass. Like, I've heard people it's a common thing to say.
It's one of my favorites. But goes back to The Rock.
It's just, in my brain, I always imagine, like, what if that person likes it? Like, what would the reaction be of the assaulter? If, like, you go, I'm going to shove this up your ass. Ooh.
It's one of my favorites.
How do you react to that, like, afterwards?
I don't know. That's fine. I'd be like, touche.
Do I keep going? Do I stop? Do I just, like,
do you remember The Rock?
Shake your hand and say,
remember The Rock used to do it?
You deserve it. Like,
remember The Rock used to do that? He'd go, I'm gonna take that sumbitch, shine it up real nice, turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. Is one of my favorite lines ever. Well, you know what? Going back to these manosphere people and toxic masculinity, I hate that phrase, but I had it took me a while with my son. My wife had to point out to me, like, you treat him differently than you treat your daughter because he's a boy. Like, you're less likely to, like, be like, oh, buddy, what's wrong with crying? You're more likely to just be like, hey, come on, stop crying, or, whatever. Like, and it took me a while, and I was harder on him, more like giving him a hard time about things more than her, and being more like, less like, hey, could you stop doing that? And more like, hey, stop doing that. In general. And it took me a while to realize she was right. I really was. I was treating him differently because he was a boy, because I guess that's how in my head it was like, well, you have to be firm with boys and treat them with more so what I'm looking for. You have to be more to the point with them,
stern
and
more,
firm and stern.
Stoic,
yeah. And this was a couple months ago now, and I had a conversation with her. She talked to me about it and pointed it out, and I was like, you are absolutely right. I do that. And I made the adjustment, and, like, I feel like I have a much better relationship with now. I really do. I feel like we have a much cleaner relationship with each other. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to yell about things. I could just talk to him about them and explain to him what he's doing wrong, and instead of just getting mad right away. And, like, it was so healthy. Like, I felt so good. And I had another point, but that was one of my favorite things. Oh, that's one of my favorite things to say to my kids when people are around. It's as a joke. I probably should stop doing that. They'll be like, if they're bugging me, cool. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to shove that tablet up your butt if you don't stop bugging me. I do it as a joke because I want to make people laugh, and then I realize I'm just being inappropriate, and then they may think I'm actually going to do it. I don't know. I guarantee I've said it in front of you before.
I don't pay attention to half of what you say unless we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's usually a good idea not to listen to what I'm saying.
Like,
I wouldn't listen to me on here. What we should do.
No, because then they only have me, and that's not a good thing.
I think we should release an episode and I'll mute my track. It'll just be you, and people will probably enjoy it more.
I'm very sure they won't. I'm quite sure.
You don't know. It could be.
That they need a breather from this. Funny enough that you mentioned that, I am very opposite with my daughter. With between my daughter and my son. My son, I'm more so willing to cuddle and coddle than my daughter, but mainly because like I used to with both of them, but my daughter likes to milk sympathy.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you gotta make an adjustment.
That's such a complete, like my wife had to point that out to me too. It's a complete like off switch for me, but she did it so much that I started missing out that my son was starting to do it. And I realized with my son, when he starts doing it, I get angrier with him than I do with my daughter.
Oh yeah, I wonder,
because I'm like, don't do that. There's no reason for that.
It was really hard for me to.
Really weird. I'm sorry.
No, it's just I'm not always very good at self-reflection.
Yeah.
And self-criticism.
I don't think anybody's necessarily good at it.
That's true.
How you accept the criticism.
You're right.
I think it's how you accept the criticism that really matters.
Well, I mean, when my wife pointed it out to me, I had to think about it, and I was like, oh no, she's right. I mean, I was like, no, she's right. And I'm like, I was very troubled by it because I'm trying to figure out where it comes from. I was trying to figure out like why is that the way? And I just figured, I guess it's just, I don't know if it's the way I was raised.
You grew up in a single parent household, right?
Yeah, but I had two brothers. I mean, I didn't have a sister.
But you're the oldest.
Yes.
You had to take on a specific role, and based on
I did
like TV and what your mom probably expected of you and shit like that, you probably just kind of took on a role where that's how you felt. Like you had.
My parents separated when I was in 6th grade, so I was 11, I guess.
Okay, so you got a little bit of like
a little bit, but my mom worked nights, and then she was tired during the day, so she left for work at like 6:30, 7ish, and that was it. I mean, it was me with my brothers at night. I feel like it couldn't have been when I was 11 that she started. You know, she was going to work while we were home alone. It must have been another year or so. I feel like she had babysitters for a while. So but you know, maybe 12 or so. You know, when she left at night, that was it. It was me and my brothers. So it was, you know, I was responsible at night, and in the morning we'd go to school. She was sleeping during the day, and then we'd get home. There'd be a few hours of crossover. If she wasn't working a second job, she worked a second job for a long time too. So I don't know, maybe it's just goes back to that when I was kind of having to parent my brothers a little bit. And because I was younger and they were older, I probably had to be a little more stern with them and a little more. Because I was older and they were younger. Well, I was young though, and they probably
were young. You were younger than you are now, obviously. But
yeah, so maybe they might not have been as receptive to their 12-year-old brother telling them what to do. So I probably had to be a little more firm about things. I don't know, and I mean, like, it's not like I was like terrible to my son.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. It was just it was a much different. You know, if he was crying, it would be,
it was like
buddy, come on, what are you doing? Stop
early
crying.
2000s, late 90s. So
late 90s, mid 90s, really.
Mid 90s,
early to mid 90s.
God,
but
I miss 1997.
I miss the 90s in general. I just I liked the 90s.
Was like my favorite year as a kid.
97? Why 90? Any particular reason for 97?
It was just, I just remember it being a good year.
It's weird that you have that specific
movies that came out that year and be like, damn.
Oh, I guarantee. I feel like the movies that came out in the mid 90s were just the shit. Like, there's so many Face Off, Broken Arrow, Con Air. There's just so many good, like, just action movies.
Okay. I'm sorry, I did do it.
Yeah. Let's hear them.
The Cube came out in 97.
The Cube.
Spawn came out in 97.
Ooh.
Event Horizon came out in 97.
One of the most mindfuck movies ever.
I love Event Horizon.
I went to see that with our mutual friends.
Yeah, without that movie, Dead Space wouldn't exist the way it does.
Agreed. Yeah. So, I got home from Event Horizon. We saw it at the cheap theater. Now it's a cheaper theater that has first run movies, but at the time it was like a couple buck theater, and it had like some of the movies were already out on video that they ran. We went and saw it there, and I got home and my brain was just fucked. I just was like, I can't comprehend what I just watched. It was so fucking crazy.
One of the few movies, because I found out it was actually supposed to be a Hellraiser movie, and now seeing it again was like, that makes 100% sense.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
I was today years old when I learned that.
And mind you, this is as a kid. mind you. Like,
Yeah, it's different.
Batman and Robin came out in 97.
It was good at the time when you saw it.
It was good at the time.
And
The Game, which was a good movie.
The Game with Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Yes. Yeah, that was very good too.
Contact
with Jodie Foster. Excellent movie.
Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
That was the second Power Rangers movie.
I don't think I saw that one because I was too old for Power Rangers at the time, I believe.
Aliens Resurrection, the movie you like.
Throwback. Excellent movie. Whoa.
For me, as a kid, I liked it only because, one, the human-alien hybrid was so gross.
Yes.
At the time, it was cool.
Well, buddy.
And seeing Ripley,
I haven't seen it since then.
I was mad at Aliens 3.
Aliens 3 sucked.
And
it irritated the shit out of me.
The fact that they killed Ripley, I love Ripley.
Not just they killed Ripley. But you not just the fact that they killed Ripley. You went from Aliens 1, which was a perfect, horror movie. You got this alien creeping around. We're all stuck in this tight space. And then you go to Aliens 2 where you go, now we're going to have a bunch of aliens. It's going to be fucking crazy. And then I guess they were trying to recapture the magic of the original by making it in a prison. But it just didn't work anymore.
Well, because they wanted like the gore factor of 2, where it's just a bunch of people being eviscerated. So they put it on a prison planet. It still could have worked. But
could have worked, yeah.
It just, I think there was a lot of like development hell that went on with that movie because it could have worked. And I'm sorry, killing Ripley was just
you can't kill Ripley.
First of all, killing Newt and Hicks.
Oh yeah, before the movie even started, off screen, yeah. Oh, like, come on,
like that fucking really. They could have just arrested Ripley and put her on the planet. She didn't have to crash there. They could have said she did war crimes and it was bullshit because of the corporations.
Yeah.
Because she knew too much. And they separated Hicks. He goes to somewhere else. They put Newt into foster care or some shit.
Yeah.
And Ripley's there. And then Aliens 4 could have been about Newt. But whatever. That would have been cool. Adult Newt.
That would have been cool. But he killed her off screen.
Yep. Then Mimic, which was also a pretty good movie for its time.
Mimic.
Weird,
Mimic
now.
With, what the hell's her name? Mira Sorvino? Was that her in that?
I know.
Or was it Natasha Henstridge?
Now I gotta look it up.
I can't recall. I could be wrong on both counts.
Alex Kormazzi. Alex Kormazzi.
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of with Mira Sorvino. I'm thinking that.
No, Mira Sorvino isn't it? The Google
okay, I was right.
App covered her name.
Okay, I was right. Good.
Yeah, you're right. Shaquille O'Neal Steel. That was the end of the superhero movie era for a while.
I don't remember that one even coming out.
It came out around the end of the year.
What was the movie where he played a genie?
That was Kazam.
Yeah, everybody, the Mandela
people
effect
call it
on that,
Shazam,
right?
and they think it was a Sinbad movie because
the Mandela
idiots.
effect. Yeah, I didn't have that in my head. The Berenstein Bears thing. Sometimes I'm like, I can't remember.
Okay, because I call it Berenstein Bears, and now I'm looking at it as Berenstain. But I was like, I was a child. Somebody mispronounces it once, and that's what I think it is.
Right. Also, you're not really paying attention to that. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're reading the book. You're not reading the title.
Starship Troopers.
Oh, okay. Well, now one
Men in Black.
Movie. Oh, okay. Classic.
Men in Black, I still quote to this day. So
first Men in Black was fantastic. Second one was decent. Third was shit.
Yeah. Scream 2, Wishmaster, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Batman and Superman Adventures. That was the world's finest movie. Kull the Conqueror, Gattaca, Bram Stoker's The Mummy, 007 Tomorrow Never Dies.
See, that's my least favorite of the Pierce Brosnans.
I don't think I watched it, Pat. Like to that.
I love Pierce Brosnan as
he was amazing.
GoldenEye is one of my all-time favorite movies.
He's probably my top James Bond right now.
No, that's not true. How could I say Tomorrow Never Dies is my least favorite, knowing that Die Another Day exists?
Die Another Day.
Which was just the most ludicrously stupid Bond movie I think I've ever seen.
Oh my God, Star Kid. See, this movie, like, most of my memories are coming from this year right now.
We were kids,
Peak.
man.
Fucking Dante's Peak.
Ooh, also Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, the scene where the guy wanted to save, I think it was a kid, and he jumped into the lava.
Tried to walk on it. Yeah.
He jumped into the lava to be a human pillar. That was the day I realized that lava is solid.
Yep.
Like you
And
don't splash in it like the Terminator. You fucking just burn like acid.
I was like,
that stuck with me.
You know what it is?
Oh.
That was when we were kids, so we had a lot of time on our hands to watch movies and play video games
HBO
and
was
shit.
a viable thing. Perfect Blue came out, which is
I used to rent movies and then duplicate the VHS tapes. Early piracy.
Same here.
I had 2 VCRs. I would just dupe them.
Sigourney Weaver's Snow White. I remember that. I
made labels too.
To that.
I made cool labels. I'd like draw the logo and shit on it. Made them look cool.
Oh wow.
I probably shouldn't.
Devil's Advocate.
Oh, Devil's Advocate. Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino.
So fucking
great
good.
Movie.
Like Al Pacino's outrageous acting with Keanu Reeves, whatever Keanu does. I'm the devil's son? No. No
this
way.
Can't be. Are you
Can't
trying
be.
to tell me that the devil's my father? Whoa.
I think I'm going to have sex with my wife. Maybe have the Antichrist as a child. Whoa.
That should be amazing. Did you play? Oh, you played Cyberpunk. We've talked about Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah. I Know What You Did Last Summer. The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element.
Dude, these are some really good movies.
97 was the fucking year.
These are some great movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I remember seeing that in theaters with
oh my God.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. Where's Jennifer Love Hewitt now? She was on Criminal Minds for a while, a couple years ago.
Man, I think she didn't she
she's still acting, I believe.
I thought she retired to take care of her kids.
Maybe but she
it was
came
a short
back.
Retirement.
Yeah, because she was on Criminal Minds a while ago, and she did some Lifetime movies, I think.
She really did not age much.
No, she still looks really good. She looks good.
She's 44.
She's a very beautiful woman.
I think that's just that perpetually she'll look like a cross between a teacher and a teenager simultaneously.
Yeah. I can't stand when women of Hollywood feel the need to get all that work done and try to keep themselves looking young, because it never works. It always looks bad. Meg Ryan, Renee Zellweger, Madonna, I guess
doesn't
now
even look like the same person.
No, I don't know why they do it. Like, there are some gorgeous women.
I think it's pressure
in Hollywood in their 40s, 50s. Yeah, it's got to be. That look fantastic. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is what, 60 something now? She looks better than she did in Seinfeld. She is a gorgeous woman. Because I'm almost done with Seinfeld.
I never thought Jennifer Aniston was like attractive until I saw her in Horrible Bosses.
Oh yeah, she was very good in that. That was a great movie.
And it wasn't that she was playing a sultry character; it had nothing to do with that. It was just like, that's Jennifer Aniston.
She's a very very good looking woman. Oh, the Friends reunion. I don't know. You probably didn't watch it because
no.
Why the fuck would you? But I watched the Friends reunion, and Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox both. They've had some work done, and you could see it. It's just they don't look like themselves.
I haven't seen her recently.
And then Lisa Kudrow hasn't. Beautiful, looks great. Still a beautiful, gorgeous woman. Aged beautifully, looks wonderful. I don't know if this is sexist talk. I don't think it is. Right? We're just talking about women.
We're okay.
There's guys, very good-looking guys too.
Overall, they all have their own choices. They can do whatever they want. Like, they made their money. They can do what they want. Our opinions don't really fucking matter.
No, of course not.
But if it's out of like peer pressure, or if they felt like something was wrong with them, like in my opinion, I feel like you proved that self-consciousness. That's not true because of the shit you did before you got that work done.
Yeah.
Again, Renee Zellweger. She doesn't look like the same person at all. Like, even if it was like small corrective things, does not look like the same person at all. For me, one of the most tragic ones was the actress from Dirty Dancing. I can't remember her name.
Jennifer Grey?
Maybe.
I think so.
But I remember seeing her in Dirty Dancing. I don't like Dirty Dancing personally, but that's just not my type of movie. But I saw that movie, and then I saw a few movies she was in, and then I saw this Tales from the Crypt movie she was in. And she had her nose done. And I didn't know it was her.
Well, she had a very distinctive nose.
And it was like, she doesn't look better. She just looks like a different person.
Yeah, right.
And
I don't think that, and that's not a good idea when your face is your celebrity status is, very
Yeah.
closely linked to your face. People know your face.
Meg Ryan, she can't smile. She was known for like this really warm, like inviting smile. She can't smile anymore because she can't feel the upper part of her face, apparently.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and it applies to guys too, because you look at guys
God.
like Sylvester Stallone and Mickey
Sylvester
Rourke.
Stallone looks like a tomato.
Yeah, I mean, you got these guys that have got work done that look ridiculous, and then you got guys like Paul Rudd and Keanu and these other actors that have aged very well. They look George Clooney. They're good looking guys at their age, and then you got these guys that got the work done, and again look like tomatoes.
What's this goddamn name? Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I said that. That's what I said. Mickey Rourke.
You did say Mickey Rourke.
He looked like a fucking doll.
He looked so bad.
It was awful.
Michael Jackson. Before they put him in the ground, there's still parts of him still down there, perfectly preserved.
Yeah, it's just a nose, a chin,
like a flakes of skin. Like
yeah. You know what? We're making fun, but you're right. It's got to be some sort of mental issue where they feel
because it's all so you.
It's got to be hard when you're I said your face is linked to your celebrity, so when the
superficiality is focused on
it really is, yeah.
And those superficial things that like you can get up in the morning, think you're ugly, but look yourself in the mirror and brush your teeth and like groom yourself, no matter how you feel about yourself. But when that is literally your life, that aspect of you is your life, you're gonna find the smallest things to fucking pick on. I'm not playing like psychologist for them or anything, but I just feel like the way people are that's.
Well, you're going to link in your head that they're linked. So anything, if you're losing something in your physical appearance, you're going to link that to losing some of your fame or some of your fortune. I mean, they're going to be linked. Oh my God, I'm starting to get wrinkles. I'm going to start losing my celebrity. Like they're just going to be inextricably, is that the right word? Yeah. Linked in your head. So I get it. It's just, man,
it's heartbreaking.
I wish it wasn't a thing because
then again,
I hate seeing people ruin their appearance.
I'm not saying that. Knowing me,
dude,
that's why I'm not rich, because I would just focus in on that shit.
Yeah. I hate to bring up 90 Day Fiance again too, but the twins from 90 whatever their names are, Darcy and Stacy, those two women have now had crazy.
Please don't tell me they're
done.
The Australian ones.
No,
to get pregnant at the same
Darcy
time?
was the one that dated the dude from the Danish dude. Was he Danish? He had the short blonde hair, Jesse. That guy Jesse, she dated him, and then she dated the guy Tom from England, and both relationships were just shit shows. I think on both their ends, but they tried to make it seem like it was all her fault, really, in the editing. I feel like, but she's got her own show with her twin sister now, and same thing. Like they're young, they're not older, they're still pretty young, and they've had a ton of work done. They just look completely different now.
Yeah, I just feel like the excessiveness of it is the problem. And I mean. It's heartbreaking. It is absolutely sad to see when you feel kind of that self-conscious about yourself. Speaking of celebrities, I just saw an interview with what's his
Bob Hope.
The ghost of
Jimmy
Bob Hope.
Kimmel.
No, it's Mel Gibson.
Dane Cook. Oh, okay, Mel Gibson. Yeah, boy.
And I don't know if he is on something.
Yeah.
But he was just going like they were talking about the Passion of the Christ 2, because he's like, we got a script. We actually have two.
Oh, it was a video?
And it was a video. You might find it online. I might share it with you if I find it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for it.
We have one. It's all well structured. It's perfect. And we have another one that's like a drug trip. Now.
What he means is, I did a lot of LSD and then wrote the script.
Well, it's like he done Blow and just like saying what he had to have done. And like, yes, Passion of the Christ 2, Jesus rises again and comes back with Tommy guns. Like that's what I was expecting.
And he's got a really big dick. It's really big. It's so big it just hangs out of his pant leg.
Robin, excuse me, I cannot feel my bicuspids. Like just going fully off the rails.
Is anybody else itchy?
And everybody's like applauding. And everybody's like applauding him. And I'm like, okay, applaud the weird, crazy, racist Australian dude. But,
how soon we forget.
Yeah, right? But I'll be honest, if they do a psychedelic drug trip style, I might have to watch the first Passion of the Christ to see the second one.
Oh boy. I'm no interested in seeing either.
Yeah, my church made me go see the original.
Oh, really?
Because when my parents were going to church, the pastor was just like, you gotta see it to understand what the Lord went through. And like, it's a fucking movie. Nobody alive knows what the Lord went through.
Yeah, it's definitely a script.
But they forced us to see this rated R movie. I think it was rated R when it came out.
Yeah, it was.
It's a fucking most of the movie is a torture scene.
Torture. Yeah.
And so, but they had us kids going with them. They felt like we were old enough. And
hey, like, look, if you're old enough to suck a priest's dick, you're old enough to see a rated R movie.
Right? So I never forgave my parents for that.
I get it.
But I'm just like, and they was like, yeah, Jim Caviezel's, he's down for it. The guy that played Jesus, apparently. I'm like, yeah, he's a weird right-wing dude. He has nothing else going on. Like,
no. Yeah, nobody's booking him.
Yeah, the highest thing he had was being Jesus in a torture film that everybody said was great, but was literally just a torture film.
Yeah, I think he did another like religious movie after that too. It was another like nobody cared about movie, if I remember correctly.
Like, you could get Kevin Sorbo, like, with this
Kevin
for less money.
Kevin Sorbo,
he's a good
James
actor.
Woods.
Oh my god, just list them all.
Deuce Bigelow. What's his name? Whatever his name is. Just get them all together. Isn't it funny how the rights, like, have you ever seen like when they do the Democratic National Party and the Republican National Party conventions, and like the DNC's got like Beyonce, and then they're like, and here at the RNC we've got James Woods, Clint Eastwood. It's just like Clint Eastwood's actually famous. Sorry, that's a bad example.
Well, no. Clint Eastwood's only famous in name only at this point. He directs. Don't get me wrong. He's been in the business forever. But just like traditionalism is literally things you just can't let go of.
He's an A-list name, though. I'll give him that. It didn't work for my joke. It didn't work for my joke. I should have said Deuce Bigelow.
That he didn't finance and make himself. Was he in?
Maybe not anymore, but he was at one point an A-list name, right?
At one point, yes.
I'm trying to think of a real D-lister here. Rob Schneider. I'm trying to think of a real D-lister here for my joke. It would have been better. DNC has Beyonce and the RNC has Rob Schneider. I like saying Deuce Bigelow better.
I mean, because, okay, let's be real here. Deuce Bigelow, as stupid and vapid as that movie was, it was funny.
Oh, well.
It was offensive to everybody.
My favorite part was when he's dated the tall woman, and there's somebody in the background just going, "That's a huge bitch."
That's a big bitch.
You kind of heard it off screen in the background.
That's a huge bitch.
That's a huge.
Because most of those jokes, have you noticed? Watch Deuce Bigelow again. Imagine most of those jokes in that movie were black jokes with quotations
were they?
For people who can't see it. That's a huge bitch in the background. That's a black joke. The big fat transvestite. There's supposed to be a woman. It's supposed to be a woman, but I think it's a transvestite character or transsexual character. I don't know. But did somebody say steak?
Oh yeah,
that character, the one that everyone was quoting the shit out of,
stupid,
was super offensive to everybody that exists.
Why that was movies back then? That's just they were just a line of there's something about Mary. What else?
They're all the tamest one, in my opinion.
But they were all just a slew of offensive jokes, in a row, because that was what was funny at the time.
Yep.
If I thought it was funny then, does that make me a bad person now?
Well, I mean, they were funny then, and they're funny in their bubble. If we're going to do that, we got to understand these existed. They were funny in their times. Fucking Blazing Saddles was funny in its time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our time now is a time of anti-context. We don't understand how context works.
Yes,
everybody's autistic to a very high degree, and we need to have things explained to us. So what I feel like we should replace captions, like closed captions, and not place what they're saying, but place what they mean.
It's a good idea.
So
closed captions. Here's what they mean.
And just explanations as to what they mean. Like that old MTV video where like they'll say something in the music video and then this pompous like old white dude is sitting on a chair explaining what the fuck is going on. They should do
like they did with the Tom and Jerry cartoons where they got the little disclaimer in the front of the cartoon that's like, this is a product of its time, blah 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 blah. But just do it every joke. Just like make the joke, and then a little pop up
little like
tile card comes up,
like early 2000s MTV.
This was considered funny in the year 1994.
Pop up video, like that shit.
Yeah, there you go. Pop up video. Little pop ups come up. Whoop! This was funny in 1994 because
the context.
Fat people were constantly mocked for their overweight lifestyle.
People back in this time felt like being overweight was not genetic, and that there was no health at every size.
There you go.
Like this was before the internet. So
I got to go to the post office. So I think that
you want to harass more people.
No. I just got a regular drop off, and this is the post office over by you. Actually, the one that's right next to you. I always go there because I always walk in, and they're just like, yeah, put it on the counter. I'm like, okay, thanks, and that's it. It's nice and quick and easy. I don't have to wait in a line.
I was thinking about working there, so I don't have to.
You should work there because then I could drop the packages off to you. I like that post office, and the hours are good. They're only open from like 1 to 5 or something.
Oh yeah, they're open like 4 hours a day.
It's really weird. And then there's like one 5 minutes away from it, and that one's open like all day. And I originally thought that one was open in the morning, and then the one by you was open in the evening. But no, the other one's open all day. And then there's the one by you that's open for 4 hours.
I'm not allowed to have a mailbox because I live so close to this post office.
So you have to go there to get your mail?
Yep.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed to get a mailbox.
That's okay. When you're discriminating against somebody because of their proximity to a post office, what would you call that?
Postageophobia? I don't know.
That's locationist.
That's locationist.
That's so stupid, though. What, the fucking guy that delivers 3 doors down from you or whatever can't just fucking take an extra 2 feet to drop it in his car? Nope. He's in a fucking truck half the time.
Hey, it took forever for fucking FedEx to start sending stuff here and not there.
That's so irritating. Oh man, that would drive me nuts. That would be one of those causes I'd take up, and I'd like be outside the town hall with a picket sign. Be the only guy there bitching about it.
Distance, and if my wife wasn't so like adamant on picking up the mail,
I mean,
I would just walk there.
It's like literally next door to you. I mean, it's really.
I
what would it take you? Literally 30 seconds to walk over there?
But that's why I should work there. I live right there. Oh, it's snowing? There. Okay, I'm a walk there.
And they have. I don't know if they have high churn, but I can think in the last year there's like 3 or 4 different people I've seen there.
There were 3 or 4 different people there. The turnaround is bad, but. I mean, unless this person lives really close to, I should be a shoo-in.
Because I think there's a woman there now. There's a woman there now, if I recall. She's been there for like...
Oh, there was a guy there last I saw, huh?
No, the last couple times I've been, it's a woman. She's been there for maybe 2 or 3 months I've seen her. And then there's a guy that used to be there. I haven't seen him. And the guy before him, I see is at Slate Hill usually now when I go there.
There used to be like a creepy skinny dude with glasses. Then there was a fat guy.
That guy I remember.
A young black guy.
That guy I remember. Yeah, that's him. I haven't seen the fat guy. Look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. We're talking about fat movies. The overweight white man. He's at Slate Hill now. I see him there. The black dude. I haven't seen him around.
Look, if I start working there, you can say, "Oh, the short fat black guy." Like it's descriptive. It describes me. So if somebody goes there who's never seen me before, goes, chances are that's the person they're talking about.
Have you ever seen the Mad TV skit? I think it was Mad TV with the woman's buying a purse or something. I think I'm maybe totally screwing this up, but she goes up to the counter and like, did anybody help you? And it was Jordan Peele, and she's like, and she wants to say the black guy, but she won't say it. She's like,
you know what? Yes,
the guy over there.
That was one of the better seasons because it was Keegan and Jordan were there.
Yeah, and the person at the register is like just like not getting it. And she doesn't want to say the black guy. It's so funny.
I hate things to describe him.
I hate that I wasn't avoiding it. I just didn't say it. I wasn't avoiding it. I hate when people avoid using that. If that's the easiest way to describe the person you're talking about, just fucking say it. Why does it matter?
I love daring my white friends to do it. I mean, like
my black friend.
Yeah, I don't challenge them outwardly. I just stare at them. I've done it to you a few times, where I'll just stare at you and wait for you to say it.
You're making me uncomfortable right now with the face you're making.
I just love doing it because I don't care.
I know you don't. That's why it makes you enjoy doing it.
And it's just like, I'm going to eke out a little bit of joy. I need some black privilege right now.
My wife knows that because she's told me, she's like, Joaquin loves making you uncomfortable. He loves it. I was like, oh, I know he does.
Well, because you give
I'll
off
let him
this
have
air
it.
that you don't give a shit, so I have to like prove that you're human in my head.
I mean, of course, everybody gives a shit to a degree. So of course, I have to give a little bit of a shit once in a while, but. All right, guys, that's the podcast.
Yeah, we wasted your time.
We wasted two.
Thanks.
I think we got an hour and a half of good content and 45 minutes of bad content there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, we appreciate you guys. We really do.
Thanks for listening, Aaron.
And thank you,
so much for the email, guys. Send us some more emails. Tell us what we're wrong about. Tell us what we're right about. We love it. We love complaining. So if you got something you want to complain about, it doesn't have to be a when I originally envisioned, and that is why I hate you as a podcast, it was going to be people, places, like a noun, any person, place, or thing. But we've kind of stuck to groups of people because I feel like there's so many. It's a target. Not groups of people. Groups
at some point.
Groups of people makes it sound like a Nazi podcast. We're like, all right, today we're talking about the Jews.
No, I just know that I was stuck in traffic last we were supposed to record, and I have a person, place, or thing now. Like, nice. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add it because I'm just losing my shit. I lost my shit.
Walmart. Like, I could have an episode about Walmart. I hate Walmart. Oof. I mean, I don't hate Walmart. It's Walmart. You like hate it, but you have to use it. Like, but you know what I mean. There's plenty of people, places, and things to go around. But there's just so many groups of people.
Still work out too.
Yeah. Any suggestions you have doesn't have to be a group of people. Although, like I said, it's just every day somebody pisses me off. Like, people who talk to me in line, like, that's going to be on the list now. All right, guys.
If we ever learn to stay on topic.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, that's the beauty of us. We don't stay on topic. We're hoping to have a couple guests coming up soon on the pod, so we'll keep you apprised of that. Appraised, whatever the word is. And thanks for listening. All right? Let's see if I can get this right today. Here comes the mail. Peace.